Hello, welcome back. I'm Darren, and today I'm going to do a quick video on my advice, and it's basically my advice to newcomers to PC and definitely for people thinking of moving over or already moving over from console. Now, a lot of people probably won't agree with what I'm about to say, and that's totally fine. But it's something that I kind of think quite strongly about, and I'm not going to really change my mind on it. So my biggest problem or my biggest concerns for people moving to PC or certainly moving over from console, because you have to remember consoles, for what a console does, consoles perform amazingly well. There's reasons for that. Obviously, consoles are designed with gaming in mind and just gaming in mind. But at the same time, consoles are sold at a loss. A console costs more to produce than what a console gets sold for. So a console is, when you're comparing the cost of a console to a PC, you're going to have a problem. Consoles are sold at a loss, and they're the money getting gained from what they lock you into in subscriptions is where these companies make their money. That's what they want. They want your subscriptions. They want your online subscriptions. They want your Game Pass subscriptions. They want to make the money out of the games that you buy. That's where they're going to make their money. So on the hardware, they're happy to take a loss because they know that they're going to make it back. Now, PC, it doesn't work like that. So when you buy a PC, you're paying full money. You have to be aware of that. So if you're going into a mindset of a console is £500 and you're going to buy £1,000 PC and it's going to be double the performance of your console because it is double the cost, you're going to fall short. Now, where my advice kind of comes in is you can very easily fall very short on your expectations at say £1,200, whereas £1,400 you can have an incredibly different experience. And that's kind of where I want to go with this, because we're kind of, hopefully I should be able to do it. We're going to try and move across from obviously the video that I'm on now to the desktop, and we're going to kind of have a quick look at the internet. I've just kind of put a little build together, and it's not cheap, but at the same time I will run you through kind of the options that you would get for maybe a couple of £100 less, and the kind of try to explain to you the kind of experience you'd be losing when you go for that bottom dollar PC build compared to the experience that you could get if you spent that extra £200. Now, you have to bear in mind, you're already spending £1,200, probably on a pre-built. You're probably going to spend, I mean, don't get me wrong, judging by where you get it, what type of deal they've got going on or something like that, it could be under £1,000. But at the same time, that place might be doing a deal that a £1,200 build is going to get you to the level of what I've just put together. So it's probably smaller than what you think. Once you're already committed to spending, say, £1,000, the difference in what you might get for £1,000 compared to what you might get for £1,200 will be a huge difference. And not only will it be a huge difference, in the long run, it will save you so much money, because when you then come to upgrade those parts, you're going to be taken out, you're going to be trying to sell those parts at a loss secondhand, and you're going to be paying full price for the parts to go back in it, and it's just going to cost you a lot more money in the long run. You might not want to do it. You might just buy the PC, decide that the Xbox, PlayStation, whatever you were buying is way superior to the £1,000 that you just spent on a PC, and you might end up then selling that for £500. You've just thrown £500 away. So I kind of just want to get to, the mindset of expectations. Expectations are huge, and hopefully I can kind of explain to you that when you're already spending that much money, that little bit extra really does go a long way. So hopefully we can go across to the desktop. And hopefully this will record into Safari. Now this is a build that I put across before. In fact, let me just check that that is doing what it should be doing. It should be. I hope it is. Let's go back. So, this is a build that I just basically put together. And this is what I would recommend for basically, definitely for someone coming across from console. Because when you're coming across from console, you've got high expectations. And the thing is, I think a lot of console players truly believe that they have a 4K system. You don't have a 4K system. You need to get that out of your head. Your console projects an image to a 4K display through your TV. It is not a 4K native image. It is nowhere near a 4K native image. It's using plenty of scaling, upscaling, all sorts of stuff. You don't have control over your graphics, so you don't have what you'd get in a PC if you had even high or ultra settings. You're probably somewhere between low and medium. You are using scaling. You're going to be upscaling from, who knows? I don't know, but you're definitely upscaling from a far lower resolution, and you're projecting something to 4K. It is not 4K. So this is basically a quick build that I just put together. So we'll take a little look at these individual components. Now, as far as value for money goes, you can't beat what you're getting here. Like, I'm not going to say, if you could maybe spend, we'll have a quick look. You could maybe spend a little bit more and get an extra bit. You could easily spend the same and get a lot less. Or you could spend, 50 quid less and get a hell of a lot less. So this 7800 XT from AMD, 16 gigabytes of VRAM, you're going to be able to push it to 4K in some games. You're going to play 4K native in some games, but you're going to have upscaling available. You have enough VRAM for everything. It doesn't use a stupid amount of power. This is like you're not really going to get much better for this value. So we're looking at 499. So if we go back into, hopefully it'll take me somewhere. Okay. So we'll see what other stuff you have available at AMD. If you're on the, if we're looking at the AMD GPUs now, realistically, what have we got? So 7900, let's have a look. To go up, we'd have to go to the 70, or to go below. So we'll have a look at what options we have below, which is 7700 XT. I don't think you want to go 419. And what were we? We were 499 or 489. No way. You just obviously, okay, these are pretty much around the 400. I wouldn't go for any of these lower models. They're just, I just stay away from the bargain basement models. They don't have great coolers on them. They don't have the quality of the components. Sapphire Nitro, banging card. That's your place to go. So for the extra money that you're spending to go to the 7800 XT, from what that is, you're getting way more for your extra £80 or whatever it was. So I wouldn't even, you don't want to go down. Now, if you wanted to go the other way, GRE, I mean, for 569, that's pretty tempting. ASRock card, I don't know. Dual cooler, I wouldn't I'd probably stick with the 7800 XT. I'm not gonna lie. So we could go 7900 XT. What have we got? What's the cheapest here? Power Color. Yeah, the Hellhound. I wouldn't bother again. So for the money, 7800 XT. Now, if we wanted to go down the NVIDIA route, NVIDIA, I mean, I don't know. This could show me wrong, but mid-range for NVIDIA isn't the best place to be. Right, where are we going? NVIDIA graphics cards. So we're gonna kind of probably be 4070. I don't know, 4070 Super. So what's the cheapest? We're gonna get 4070 Super. 539 Gainwood. Would I? Probably not. What would be the cheapest model that I personally... I mean, to be fair, that's probably good. Anything other than that, it's just... It's hard for me to recommend something there. And to go to the 4070, I wouldn't. I know someone today was talking to me with a 4060 Ti, but I believe it was the 8GB. So, how much is the 8GB? Do they even do? Okay. 4060 Ti, 8GB. So you're still looking at nearly 400. 350 for one there. 399 there. I mean, that goes... The difference between this and the 7800 XT in the basket, which was how much again? 499. I mean, the difference is massive. So that's why, you know, that's a quick look around at what you have available. That, to me, for that price, is a no-brainer. Now, the next thing is the 7800X3D. Now, this CPU... is going to be your best CPU regardless of what resolution you're playing at and regardless of what you're pairing it with. It is the fastest gaming CPU that you're going to buy right now. Whether you've got a 4060, whether you've got a 4090, whether you've got a fucking 7600 XT, or whether you've got a 7900 XTX, you are going to get the best gaming performance at any of those resolutions with any of those GPUs with this CPU. So again, we'll go in here, we'll take a look, and we'll see where you can go. Now, I'm not going to recommend going AM4. Not now. No chance. If you're already on AM4, no problem, but this video isn't for the people that are already on the platform. So at this moment in time, when you're looking at a 7700X, which is a step down, and the difference is 30 quid, you can go down to the... Where's there a 76? Why aren't they showing me a 7600? That's interesting. Should be. So 7600, yeah, that's kind of the non-X version. 7600X. So you could go down to 209. You could save yourself 120 quid. I wouldn't. Because at some point, when you upgrade your GPU, you're going to want to upgrade that. And at that point, you're going to be spending a lot more money than if you would have just spent that in the first place. Now, for someone that doesn't have that money, then that's fine. No one should ever spend above what they can't afford. But when it comes down to it, honestly, you're gonna end up, if you stick with PC and you start upgrading, you're gonna end up with this anyway. And it's not like it's double the price. So that to me is just go with it. And if you have to cut back somewhere else, cut back somewhere else. because this is your start and end game. You're going to upgrade your GPU at some point. You're going to upgrade other stuff. But if you get that to start with, you're not going to be upgrading it. The only time you're going to be upgrading it is when something newer, more powerful. Now, AMD are about to release, well, they have just released some CPUs. When the X3D ones are coming, I don't know. There was talk they might not come till next year. How much different they're going to be, again, who knows? That's like crystal bullshit. But for this moment in time, if you can do it, this is the one to buy. And regardless of anything else you build, that is something that you've got the best at the time. It's the best for any resolution. It's the best to pair with anything. You're done. You don't have to worry about that. Now, I've just gone for, obviously in this build, a relatively cheap. Make sure you get yourself a Wi-Fi motherboard. You might not be using Wi-Fi, but it's best to have a built-in Wi-Fi. £179. There's not a lot out there. I think the cheapest one was like $140. These boards are pretty good. There's not a lot to save. Now, you could get some cheaper RAM. I kind of probably went a little bit mad, but I didn't go with any type of RGB or anything like that. So it is 6000 CL30. Spot on. The other thing about the 7800 X3D is you can cool it with an air cooler. So we've gone with a good air cooler, but you're not paying like crazy amounts for an AIO or any type of water cooling or anything like that. So you can run it on that, no problem. You can find deals for, you probably want to put in, to start with, a 1 terabyte NVMe, and you can just build from there. But you can bang your operating system on there. You can get some games in there, and you've got enough there to get you going. Power supply, I'd go 850. You could go more to safeguard yourself, depending on what you're planning on doing. But unless you're going for like a 7900 XTX or a 4090, if you're not planning on upgrading until the newer GPUs release anyway, they're probably going to be more efficient. Generally, as they release, they become more and more efficient. So I wouldn't overly worry too much about that. 850 is going to do you absolutely sound. Yeah, like I said, this is just a quick look at some of the stuff, but if we go to, I don't know what they've got in here. Let's have a look and see what they're selling. So have they actually got any gaming PCs? AMD gaming PCs. Let's see what they've got. 4060 and a 56. So that's AM4. Absolute no. 7700 with a 4070 Ti, over £2,000. Ti Super is a build up, but that's £500 more with a lesser CPU than what I've just put together. Let's see if they have something with a 7800 XT. Here we go. What's this? So that's with a 7700 and a 7800 XT, and it's more than what I've just put together. Now, what does it include? Let's have a look. So that's a Sapphire Pulse. I wouldn't buy that one. It's a Gen 4 SSD, but probably not as good as the one that I just put in there. Obviously, it's a 7700. It's not even the X model. I'm interested to know what kind of... It's not even telling us particularly what motherboard it is or anything like that. So I don't think it is anyway. No. So, yeah, basically, then what we're looking at, if we go NVIDIA, let's go back and check what we would get if we went with a NVIDIA gaming PC. So, is there anything on a AMD platform? Yes, there is. That's the... So, what's this? 7600 with a 4070 Super. £4060 Ti, £1,200, £12,700. I wouldn't want to do that. You've got nowhere to go with that if you did want to upgrade. It's pretty much done and dusted. What we got here? They're not actually doing. Why haven't they got any? Let's have a look. They don't seem to like selling 7800 X3D, which is interesting. Gaming PCs, and they're just not selling that CPU to you, which is really shitty. I'm going to be honest. Because what they're wanting you to do is upgrade it in the checkout. So if we were going with this, which I wouldn't, but I'm going to guess that I have a choice in here to go to a 7800 X3D, which is only an extra, obviously, couple of quid. But that's a 4060 Ti, 8GB. So if we wanted to go to a 4070 Super, which would get us to the other build that I had before, similar performance, we're now up to £1,600 to turn that into a 7800 X3D and a 4070 Super. So that's actually a pretty good build. Yes, you could save money here or there. You could add, like, I don't know what this case is like. It just looks like a relatively, there's some fans in it. You know, you've got 4 fans in it. They are a bit of RGB if you want. It looks relatively mesh. So it's probably got half decent airflow. I don't know what the case is like. It kind of looks alright. 90 quid. Probably can't go too wrong. You can always upgrade it later. There's plenty of room in there for whatever you're going to need. Would probably look quite clean with the rest of the stuff being kind of black and silver and a kind of silver looking GPU. I think that would probably look quite cool actually. I'd build something like that. So yeah, basically there we go. That's kind of a quick look at my advice to anyone building, or certainly for the people coming over from console. This type of build is going to give you, I mean, we can take a quick look at something like Tech Power Up. What can I put in to get the gaming reviews? What's the latest game that would have been launched that I can get, which I'm not going to be able to even think of? The First Descendant. Let's have a look, see if that's in there. Normally if I put in VRAM it takes me to Tech Power Up, because they like to do VRAM usage, which they did. Oh, don't you do that. I can never find the way to get to their game. Is that the one that I just went in? Yes, it is. Here we go. So, let's have a look. If you were playing a new game now at 1440p, which is what I would recommend for, you know, certainly for someone coming across. So you have a 7800 XT at 62, 4070 Super at 68. So you could go with either of those. You're saving a bit of money going with that, and that will be better in some games. They're going to be kind of sharing it between each other. But obviously, you look at the difference between what you would go if you were going down for a 4060, or if you're going to a 7700 XT, or the likes of those, and especially when you get into kind of these resolutions. So, I know obviously 4K is going to be quite demanding. You can see the 4070 Super and the 7800 XT. There's hardly anything between them. But those are going to put you in the window of using some upscale, probably using quality upscale, and you're going to be at 60. Whereas if you go down to these, you're going to be looking at least 2 levels of upscale, maybe more, to get to that 60. So that extra, £100 over one of these lower tiers to something like a 4070 Super or 7800 XT, that extra £100 is worth it. Trust me, it's worth it. Now, I'm not saying it's worth it if you don't have it. If you don't have it, then don't fucking spend it. But if you can, I think that you will get an experience far above the experience you will get if you cheap out on those couple of things. So I'm going to leave it there. That's kind of my advice. Hopefully it helps some people. And I know everyone won't agree with this. A lot of people say don't spend a lot of money and figure it out and figure out if you like it or if you don't. And I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying I see a lot of people that appear to be disappointed once they've bought a pre-built PC, they've moved from console, and they're not getting what they thought they were getting. And had they have spent an extra £200, I know an extra £200 isn't just, it's not nothing, but they might have gone from I'm not impressed to I'm blown away. I honestly think that there's that much difference. So I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully that might have been some help to someone. But yeah, that's me for now, and I will catch you in the next one.